baby's only 4 months old. Please pray for us. I'm begging y'all, pray for us.
Well, not obviously some of the terrifying video we saw earlier today in the Bahamas. Now you're looking at Nassau in the Bahamas. Plenty of lightning there. Hurricane Dorian made landfall twice into portions of the Bahamas, around Elbow Key, and then again on Great Abaco Island. Winds at 185 miles an hour, obviously not moving quickly. So unfortunately, when you talk about a storm of that magnitude, not just dealing with it for a few hours, but for a sustained period of time, and even into Nassau there in the Bahamas, dealing with plenty of thunderstorm activity as Hurricane Dorian sits and settles over the area. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson, live in Charleston, South Carolina this evening, where obviously we're watching Dorian all along the southeast coastline. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina all watching this closely. States of emergency in effect for many, in fact, all of these states, because of what Dorian could bring. Now, unfortunately, this storm has been a tricky one from the beginning, Dr. Navenmark, and it's thrown a lot of curveballs, and there's still a lot of uncertainty with the slow movement. I think people look at the radar picture, look at the satellite, see where it is, and they think, well, gosh, it's going to be in Florida, what, tonight, and South Carolina by Monday, but it's much, much slower. We're not looking at possible effects here in South Carolina and North Carolina until the middle and end part of the week.
And that is part of the trickiness here, because even the best steered storms have wiggles and wobbles on their track. So when you're as far north from the storm as Alex is in Charleston, there's, hundreds of miles just in the average error by the time it gets that far in time from where it is now.
Yeah, so they've got maybe 3 days before the winds of tropical storm force might start arriving on the Charleston coastline there. And that's why there's no hurricane watch up yet, or tropical storm watch, or storm surge watch, but that will change because it will eventually start moving north somewhere in here, but it will be doing a lot of slow motion, stalling, meandering in the meantime. And we continue to look at the satellite imagery very carefully as the tropical storm force winds are maybe 50 miles or less off the coast of Palm Beach County, Florida. We're monitoring the aircraft data from the Air Force. They've made a third pass, and they're going over the extreme eastern end of Grand Bahama Island, where landfall is imminent. It's going to be happening here shortly, and still hard to decipher the data from the aircraft, Mark, when it is, the aircraft is flying over land. But if we zoom in on here on the water vapor, you can see how the center is about to cross the coastline there on the extreme eastern end of Grand Bahama, and look at all that eyewall lightning.
Yeah, and that has been a calling card of this storm, really. The ferocious upward motion in that eye wall has been giving us a lot of lightning. That's reasonably rare with tropical systems, right?
It varies tremendously. Sometimes eye wall lightning is an indicator that something is going on with the structure of the eye wall, and it can precede some structural changes. But we've seen eye wall lightning at various times, but
we've had it all day today.
Yeah, and when we might see some interesting video from the hurricane hunters when you have lightning in the eye at night. It's pretty dramatic. The storm surge is going to be devastating in the Bahamas, but we have a storm surge risk here on the east coast of Florida. There is a storm surge warning in effect there. So there could be evacuation instructions in effect that you need to be following. The storm surge watch goes up into Volusia County. And of course, here in the next half hour, we're going to get a new track and intensity forecast. So the northward extension of the storm surge and hurricane watches and warnings is likely. And the big question is, Mark, is what changes will the Hurricane Center make to this forecast track? But one thing that we've done is looked at the cone relative to the European ensembles, and I've kind of calculated, about 15% of them come ashore or right along the coast of Florida. And then there's a good half of them that are so close that you get devastating impacts on the coast, and that's just for Florida.
So there's only about 20 to 30% that are far enough east at this point that you miss out on all the impacts. That's not good odds at this point.
No.
Team coverage up and down the coast. Stay here.
Discover new San Pellegrino Essenza, a twist of Mediterranean flavors with the gentle bubbles of San Pellegrino. Add a twist of flavor. San Pellegrino Essenza. Tastefully Italian.
At Safelite Auto Glass, we really pride ourselves on making it easy for you to get your windshield fixed. With Safelite, you can see exactly when we'll be there, saving you time for what you love most.
With one of the industry's largest catastrophe response teams, State Farm will always be among the first to arrive and the last to leave, to help show that human nature is greater than nature.
This is nice.
Yeah, this is nice.
How did you make the dip so rich and creamy?
Oh, it's Philadelphia.
Family recipe.
Can I see it?
No.
Philadelphia dips. So good, you'll take all the credit.
Remember imagination? Where anything could happen. Where sun-made raisins taste like sour-flavored mixed berries, watermelons, even strawberries. Where fun grows naturally for miles. Puckers can be smiles. And fruit snacks can simply be whole fruit. Sun-made sour raisin snacks. No added sugar, no fake colors, just great sour flavor. Imagine that.
That must be me right there.
That's you? That does kind of look like our family. What are you wearing?
Ancestry has